We're live now, pal.
Now we're live.
Wow. There we go.
I have no idea what happened. I'm sorry, guys. I hit the live button. I swear to
You
God.
did?
Swear on everything. I hit live. I
good-
swear.
Wait, no, I'm not. The intro played and everything. Yeah, I mean,
Folks, you've just missed 15 minutes of fire conversation. We do apologize.
seriously.
I apologize, guys.
Nick, not on you.
Nick was in the kitchen cooking, passing out plates,
man,
asking if we want desserts. Man,
so everybody that's watching now, apparently these guys were talking while I was handling business, and they thought we were live because I hit the live button and they weren't live, and I've just wasted their time. I'm not laughing because I wasted your time. I'm laughing because I just think it's silly.
Hey, dude, it's funny. It's fine by me.
Wow.
I'll give the 10-second recap. Thank you, Trish. I'm done. Sorry, 10-second recap.
You guys looking good.
You know,
we started now.
Yeah. I mean, we reviewed about, I would say, good about 75% of Payback too. You know.
All right, well, let's do this. We'll do this. We'll go around and you can all just recap your favorite match. That way
That's all going to be the same match.
Okay, we'll pick a different one.
I'll pick a different match. I know what you guys are going with, so I'll pick something different.
They're
late, and it's my fault 100%. I'm not going to make excuses. It was my fault. I don't know what happened, but
listen, it's the computer's fault. You know, things happen. Technology didn't work.
User error. I'm not gonna make excuses. That's terrible. That's terrible on my behalf. I'm sorry, guys.
All right, you know what? Look, let's take the negativity. Let's turn it into positivity. Let's start talking about some Payback here.
One of those days, man.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn this fart into a turd and flush it.
listen, we'll make it work. Look, let's start off. We're talking about Payback.
I got a great idea.
Sure.
I'm gonna give you guys a match, and then you have to talk about it and what you liked about it. That's what we're gonna do here.
Let's go.
Okay, but introductions out of the way. Albert, Tidy, good to see you guys after not having you last week.
Hey,
all time.
I did the introductions really good, Jimmy. You'll never see it, but they were really good.
I believe you. I believe you 100%.
Albert was fire.
And we are joined by the always awesome Nick. Nick, I'm sorry for the clusterfuck problem we got going.
Mate, it's fine. You did my clusterfuck of a show this afternoon. It's the least that we can expect.
I just learned he's Australian in the
that's
UK.
Where we're at, but we're going to start the show off. I'm going to give them a match from Payback because I'm assuming we all just liked everything about Payback.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm just going to throw a match at one of y'all, and then you got to tell me what you liked about it. And since Nick is the guest of honor, he shall go first. Nick, I want you to tell me what it is that you liked the most about Rhea versus Raquel Gonzalez, since that's what we're calling her now.
I loved this match. Rhea versus Raquel was the first female hoss fight WWE put on in a very, very long time. And it's about bloody time. Rhea Bloody Ripley is the most over-the-top, phenomenal character in the women's division that they have done in such a long time. Like, who was saying earlier on today that, my Simon, Simon, well, his girlfriend does not watch wrestling. She knows one wrestler, Rhea Ripley. Right? That girl is phenomenal. Like, to watch her go against the rest of the division is always good, but to put her in the ring with someone who can match her for power and speed, just fantastic. I said before, the amount of offense Raquel got in shocked me. I thought that Rhea was just going to steamroll her like she did everybody else, but she didn't. Raquel got a lot of offense in. Dirty Dom got to get his bit in at the end, which I absolutely adored. Yes, the MVP of Judgment Day. But just very intense match. It was strategic in the way it was booked. They didn't go balls to the wall from the start. It built. Triple H is very good on these BP reviews of giving time to the matches, giving them time to cook.
Yeah.
And Rhea and Raquel really, really got time to cook in this match. It was so much fun to watch. Rhea got her nose ring ripped out within the first 5 minutes. That must have sucked. Right?
Yeah. Oh, God.
That must have absolutely sucked. And she just kept going like it didn't even happen. Right?
Rhea's not having good luck with piercings. She had the nose ring, and a couple of months ago, she had this one ripped out of her, too. The one in her mouth. Like, that's just not cool.
Well, maybe she'll learn. Stop wrestling with your piercings in.
I'd be petrified, but yeah.
So, a question about Rhea, since we're on since we're praising her and all of that. I was watching it last night and it kind of dawned on me. This is my thought. I don't think there is a person in wrestling, not just WWE. There's not a person in wrestling that has the look of a megastar more than Rhea Ripley right now. Would you guys agree or disagree there?
I'd agree with
I
that.
agree.
100%.
Yeah.
I think they need to find a way to get her in front of more eyes.
Yeah.
Get her in some commercials, get her in some adverts
I
or
agree.
something. They have to, because she just screams, pay attention, I'm a star. Like it's yeah.
Right. Like Rhea
Yeah.
is she's Becky 4 years ago.
But
Like-
with a much cooler look.
Yeah, with a
A
much
much
cooler
more
look.
marketable look.
Yeah, and a more badass attitude, in my opinion. Like, but she's where Becky was 4 years ago in her positioning. Of she's just broken through, and everybody's finally started to realize how good Rhea Ripley really is. And as you say, get her in front of as many eyes as possible. Get her on talk shows, get her on adverts, get her on cereal commercials, get her on anything you can, right, to get her star built and make it higher.
I tell you what, it's going to sound absolutely kind of crazy, but I'm not joking. I don't even know if you guys have it over there in the UK, but get her on something that's in Hot Topic so that the people who are going to Hot Topic see her and are like, who is that?
Yeah.
Because the way she plays to the crowd during her doing whatever she's doing, oh my goodness. It's fantastic. Like, she's really good
talking
at
about
it.
Hot Topic. Look how much they got Bullet Club over.
Yeah.
When they
there
got
you go.
shirts in Hot
Yeah,
Topic,
there you
it
go.
took them from here to here.
Yeah.
I had no idea what Bullet Club was until people started coming into the place that I work with Bullet Club shirts on that they got from Hot Topic. I was like, what the hell? It started showing up everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You know, and you know, Jimmy, you bring up a great point, especially when it comes to the look, because you know there are a lot of people will talk about Rhea's size, and they'll say that's the reason why she can do what she does, what she's doing, and you know, to quote a former WWE superstar, you can't teach that. But the thing is that we've seen people like Taz be looked at as this legitimate badass when he's 12 inches shorter than some people, and he looks like he can tear you apart. Rhea has an attitude. She has a look about her. She has this marketability that you look at her and you're like, I don't know who that is, but that's somebody right there. And I need to know who that is, because I know that whoever she is, she's cool as shit. And she is, and she's got
gravitas.
She does. And she's got such an engaging personality, whether she's a babyface or a heel. I mean, everybody in the Judgment Day is getting booed out of the building. And then they're like, and Rhea Ripley, and half the place erupt.
We love her.
Hard to hate her.
Yeah. So no. And then right here, I love the homage she paid to China. That was a great look. It worked really for her. Like, Rhea's entrance, everything about her is like, she just screams like star. Like, yeah. And I was so happy that she was the co-main event last night, and she delivered once again. Yeah. When she gets these matches, because she's had the one with Zelina, which delivered. She had the match with Charlotte, which delivered. She had the match last night with I'm Raquel, whatever we're calling her, Raquel Gonzalez, and she delivered. So when she gets put in the moments where she needs to deliver, she delivers every time. Yeah. She's a megastar waiting to happen. Well, I'd be curious to find out if it's something she didn't want, though.
Rhea Ripley is Charlotte the first girl.
Yeah. Was that Tidy?
I was saying Charlotte at WrestleMania, if you see her on the outside, she's kind of got this happy crying face because she knew she helped deliver Rhea to the next damn level, because Rhea needed to beat Charlotte. That was the one she didn't beat before.
Yeah.
And my God, from there, it's a rocket. And last night proved it again. And like you said, man, you think about her face, everything, who she looks like, what she is. She is the poster of WWE, and they need to run with that. Put that shit in Target, put it in Hot Topic, put it anywhere.
Yeah, right now, WWE have two megastars on their hands, and that is Rhea Ripley and Gunther.
I think they have more. They have multiple. Seth could be a megastar. I think they just haven't marketed him properly. Roman's right there on the cusp. Charlotte is. Becky is. Like, this is crazy.
Carmelo Hayes.
Yes, true. The crazy thing about Rhea, though, is you think about it, she's the first girl since the Four Horsewomen that really has gotten over to that level.
I think Bianca was there. Bianca was there.
Bianca was there, but people didn't treat her like that.
They didn't, but if you look now, who's in the commercials? It's Bianca. The WrestleMania entrance, that was a John Cena-esque entrance. Like,
yeah, it was.
I think Bianca was there. I think Rhea just has that little extra edge to her that's gonna be able to get her over on a much grander scale.
No, she's got the goth. She's got the goth fans.
Yeah,
and there's a massive amount of goth fans. There's a massive amount of emo fans.
There's not even that, man. Like I see the youth nowadays, like in our neighborhoods, like anything with that look, you can call it goth, you call it emo. It doesn't matter. It's cool as shit. Yeah. It's like we looked at Stone Cold. They will look at Rhea that way.
She knows she knew what she was doing with this whole little stick she's got going on.
It's a broad audience.
It's working for her, and it can take her to the next level. But from there, we will transition to Tidy. Tidy, I know you were talking in the chat. You like this match, so I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to give you the toss-up here for you. Becky Lynch, Trish Stratus cage match. I know you were very excited about it. I know it delivered. I think it did. What was about the match you loved most, man?
It's well, I had.
This man took notes.
I tally marked how many times their face hit that cage. I got Trish at 28.
Her forehead shows it too.
28, dude. The manhandle slam she took, the suplex she took, and I was saying to them earlier, my thing about this was that the whole build with them and their was this like the third match they did Saudi, she did a Money in the Bank match, and now that she's fighting again, I thought it would sour off, and each time it would sour off, Becky or Trish just pulled it right back up. And to think that 47, like we were talking earlier, 47 years old, reminds me of Bobby, and she can wrestle, and like she just got Zoe Stark over, the best NXT talent the last 2 years in the women's division for NXT. Zoe Stark just got a huge spotlight. It's like JD's getting Judgment Day, right? The other
when she shut that NXT cage, I was like, hell yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so, and then you think about this, you got a GOAT, you got Trish, you got a GOAT, you got Becky. And then on the outside, who do you have? Tiffany Stratton, who's already kind of started the thing with Becky. And that's the future. You got the present,
Tiffany
the
going
past,
to the
tippy
top.
Present, past, and future. And then you also have the best NXT pure wrestler that I saw the last 2 years was Zoe Stark. That's 4 people killing it. But the thing is that Trish delivered a match that was at its tippy top level. We're gonna quote Tiffany top at a tippy top level. She didn't need to take all those hits, man. She did a matrix move that literally went upside down. She did a sit up on the corner of the ring, start beating the shit out of Becky. I mean, that suplex. I mean, there was the point where I was telling them like
was
when she grabbed her head, and she looked tired and dizzy as shit. I was like, okay, is it going to get more intense? And it did. Every time it was just, I'm gonna throw your head on the mat or throw you here. Here came another move, or here came the move she did, the Widow's Peak. It was just, I thought everything was perfectly timed, perfectly placed. She ran up to the cage like 6 times, and Becky at times had to run her ass off to catch her. It was so freaking well done. And the thing, she's 47. I don't want her to go anywhere. I want Trish around the rest of the year, I hope.
So quick question, go around the room real quick. Start with Albert. Top 3 match for Trish Stratus. Would you say that Becky Lynch match was top 3 for her?
Without a doubt. I mean, hands down, without a doubt. I mean, I'm hard pressed to think of outside the match she had with Charlotte, and one of the matches, and the match she had with Lita, when she was in her prime. Those are the 3 that I think, in my opinion, those are the ones that stand out.
Victoria Street Fight 2002 Survivor.
That is, I was going to bring that up because I was actually there for that live. And that match. Yeah, I was the first ever Elimination Chamber, one of the best shows I've ever gone to. Those are the matches that stand out for me for Trish. But this was absolutely, unbelievable. We talked about it earlier before when this show wasn't recording. Match of the night for the 3 of us. We all agreed. I've never seen 2 women. It's the best women's cage match I think I've ever seen. Trish Stratus has come back. She's gotten herself over and reintroduced reintroduce fans who knew her and introduce new fans and made new fans in this run. She got Becky over better than Becky was where she was. She got Zoe Stark over better than she was when this all started. Trish came back and had an A+ run, in my opinion. And this match was, just the cap it off.
Nick, what about you? Would you say this was one of her best matches she's had?
I'd say this is her best match.
I agree.
like without a shadow of a doubt. Trish is like a fine wine; she gets better with age.
I would actually agree with that too. Like, people tend to forget that she wasn't all that great back in the. That's not a knock on her because she busted her ass to get to where she did.
Yeah, she worked her ass off back in the day, but the girls she was in the ring with the exception of maybe Lita and Victoria,
there wasn't much. Yeah.
She didn't have. There wasn't a lot of ingredients to cook with. Back
Jacqueline,
in the day.
Ivory. That was a
who in their own right, but very much past their prime.
They were good. Yeah. They just weren't over to have the kind of feuds and stuff with Trish that they needed.
No. And Vince back then was never going to let them.
No.
Either. So, but to see Trish finally get to really show what she can do in front of a crowd that was as hot as that Pittsburgh crowd was just amazing to see Trish get that moment. Even though she lost, Becky won because Becky should have won. Not arguing there. The right woman won. But to see Trish get that moment, to see her really put the work in the way she's put the work in over the last 6 months, and to finally just put on a banger the way she put on yesterday.
Yeah.
Over the moon for her. Absolutely over the moon.
And Tidy, I don't know how much of Trish you've watched. I know you're somewhat of a newer fan, but based on what you have seen.
I have went back. I mean, I would say her Monday Night Raw versus Lita, the first main event, was probably her best because of what it meant. But because of what she just did, again, she just set up a match with Tiffany Stratton sitting on the outside. She made Zoe Stark the best pure wrestler they had the last 2 years. She gave her a spotlight. She brought this out of nowhere. And to think that, I'm a Hall of Famer, 47, and I'm going to come pull this off and didn't play it safe. I mean, dude, like, that is her best match because she had everything to prove. Back then, it was just proving that we are someone you should be viewing us. Let's do the main event. And that's huge. But my favorite cage match is still Charlotte versus Sasha. That match was cold. I love that match. But because what she just did, they didn't get 4 people over. I mean, they didn't do what they just did. This was brilliant.
Yeah, so, I'm glad the match delivered the way it did because a lot of people were not feeling the feud. It took on a little too long. I'm not sure what happened there with SummerSlam. I saw someone say that Trish wasn't cleared yet. Some people thought the Battle Royal pushed him off the car. I'm not sure what the story is. I'm not going to speculate because done doing that game. It's silly.
Triple H has proven one thing in that he's going to give every match that he puts on pay-per-view time. I just don't think he wanted to weigh another pay-per-view down with that match because they wouldn't have been able to get the time that they got.
SummerSlam was already 4 hours long.
In hindsight, we look back and we see what they delivered at Payback, and it's like, I'm glad they pulled it from SummerSlam. Because I don't think we get that quality of a match. It
deserved a bigger spotlight. Even if it's on a lesser pay-per-view, it needed a bigger spotlight.
Yeah. If they did it at SummerSlam, I don't think it would have been in a cage.
No, definitely it wouldn't have been. So, and then if you think about it, they set the tone being the first match for Payback, and Payback was a fantastic show. So we can really say that they played a huge part in that, and I'm so over the moon that it happened this way because, in my opinion, they're the number 1 and 2 female talents of all time. And the feud, again, it kind of did lull a little bit at times. I'm glad it finished the way it did because that was a great
for me, whenever it started lulling, Jimmy, for me, Trish's character or Becky would say just the right thing to keep me going. Like
they would pull you back in.
As it went down, it went right back up for me. Because Trish's character, I'm sorry, that is a perfectly cold heel. I freaking love her character. I thought it's one of the best characters I've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah, she's a complete bitch, and it fits her perfectly.
It did its job. It just went on too long, and that's not even their fault. They just had to kind of work with what they were given. But with that, we will now transition up to Albert. And since I'm going ahead and giving everybody toss-ups here, I will toss one up to you as well. The Tag Team Championship match, Judgment Day defeats Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn in one of the most bittersweet moments of my entire life.
Are you sure you weren't watching us talk before, Jimmy?
Thank you. I was just saying the same thing.
I just know you all. I just know you all that well, man. I guess. But tell me what it is about this match that you love so very much.
Look,
Cameron, thank you for joining, bud.
First and foremost, my boy Finn Balor's got championship gold in WWE again, and boy, is it sweet. The one thing I got to say that I loved about this was to start off, I loved that, I'm combining both of their names. Seth Owens isn't a wrestler. So Sami,
he probably is. Somewhere.
Maybe.
I'm gonna look it up on Cage Match right now.
Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens fought 4 men and a woman to retain their tag championship. And, I mean, almost did it. You know, I said earlier to Tidy, must have been just cringing after seeing that pop-up spinebuster powerbomb that KO hit JD McDonough with on the outside. I mean, just absolutely wicked.
How dare you, KO?
I mean, that looked like it hurt. You know, Nick pointed out earlier, Rhea took out KO with the spear, but she almost took herself out with that spear, too.
Yeah, her head.
She was winded on that one.
Yep, and Dom, the MVP of the night for the Judgment Day. They don't win the tag titles if not for Dom Mysterio hitting, Sami Zayn in the back of the head with that Money in the Bank briefcase. I mean, Dom pays dividends once again in another big match. At Judgment Day's got all the gold. This is the best version of, the Judgment Day that we're going to see now. And I said it before. The one thing that WWE did really well here is that there were seeds of dissension that were being sowed. What's the one way you get everybody back on the same page? Winning gold. And that's exactly what Judgment Day did. Now they've taken this story and they've refreshed it to start all the way back over and said, hey, okay, we're all cool with each other. We love each other. We all got gold. The second they lose that, though, they're going to be right back at each other's throats. Or the second that Damian Priest puts the World Heavyweight Championship in the Money in the Bank before the tag titles, that's when Finn might start getting back, a little bit upset. JD McDonough is around. He's not officially in. But, I mean, how sick is that? I mean, the coolest looking stable. They've got all the gold now. Finn Balor's a champion. All is right in WWE for me.
Well, there's an odd little thought. That picture's just made me think. I've been wondering for a while why they haven't given the tag team division new titles. Because everyone else got a new belt when they unified everything. Roman got a new belt. So the plan was either to split them up or it's because the Judgment Day get to run Freebird rules.
I think that would be interesting. But I think the thing is, I don't know if they know what they really want to do with the tag division yet. Because do you run 2 divisions on Raw and SmackDown, or do you run 1 division? I think they should run 1 division.
Agreed.
I don't think there's enough tag teams around to do 2 divisions, but I just don't think they've decided yet. That's what I think. But it's possible. A Freebird rule with that, having Rhea Ripley and Dom team up sometime, that would be dope.
Yes,
exactly.
I'm so proud of making this. I made this, everybody. You damn right. I'm so proud of it because that looks cool as shit.
Yeah, it does.
If they don't come out, this is going to be one of those things where I set myself up with an expectation because if they don't come out wearing those belts like that, I am going to.
Well, it's going to be really good if they set Bobby Lashley to take on Priest when Priest cashes in Money in the Bank, the Street Profits to go after the tag titles, and the newest member of the Hurt Business, Bianca Belair, to go after Rhea.
We don't care about the draft rules anymore, honestly.
No,
I don't care.
That doesn't matter. WWE don't care about the draft.
Don't let good rules get in the way of fantasy booking.
Nick, I got a little thing for you. I know this is going to make me sound like such a homer for WWE, and I don't really care anymore.
Okay.
But WWE has created their own forbidden door. They live in their own. They live in their own universe. They live in the WWE universe. Raw's one brand, SmackDown's one brand, NXT's one brand. They're like, well, we got a forbidden door too. We're just going to bounce back and forth between all of them. There you go. That's your solution, everybody. You can call it stupid all you want, but hey,
it's not stupid.
It's within the WWE universe.
If you
they don't need to play with others because they have their.
They have it all themselves.
Yeah.
If you go back to the early 2000s, the whole point of splitting the brands in the first place was to give the illusion of competition within professional wrestling because there was no more competition because Vince bought it all. Right now, they need to create an illusion of competition within themselves because they are a self-contained bubble. As you say, they are a self-contained universe. And there is literally no point in them going, I want to get this guy from over here. And then we have to train him in the WWE style and teach him how we put matches on and translate him from Japanese and do everything else.
I think if they were able to, if that's what they're, I don't think that's what they're doing, but if they were able to really get people on board with that's kind of what they're trying to promote, I think the brand warfare Survivor Series would be a much bigger success.
Agreed.
If you think about it, when NXT did it, that was the best one because it literally felt like brand warfare.
Yeah.
All the other times it doesn't. So
Adam Cole, baby.
Adam Cole, baby. Oh my goodness, the good old days.
Shayna Baszler, they were looking mean. That was so good. They destroyed WWE.
We're going to go around real quick again. We're going to talk about our favorite spot from this match. Albert, let you go first since this was your match. What was your favorite spot?
Man, I mean, you got a half an hour. No,
you have 30 seconds.
So here's the thing. I don't want to steal because I know what Nick's answer is going to be, but Nick's answer is my answer. But he's the one who brought it up. I'm going to let you take that one. So I'm going to go with. I loved the Rhea Ripley interference. I thought it was the perfect time for that. I mean, it looked like JD came out and it was like, hey, look, I paid dividends, and he gets shelved, and it's like, all right, what else do they have? Dom is taken out, and out of nowhere, here comes Rhea Ripley at full speed through a damn barricade. I mean, just sick as all hell. I loved it.
Real quick. Why would they do draft it? We just explained it to you. They have their own Forbidden Door now.
It's literally a self-contained universe, Courtney. The
They
draft doesn't really matter.
Right.
They don't need to play well with others.
Now that
two moments from this match. Two
all
spots. Right. One, when Kevin and Sammy came out of the penalty box, and Kevin was pissing with blood, just out of nowhere, I thought was amazing because they went all Canadian on him and beat him up with hockey fights. And then even though the reason Kevin Owens is in a street fight, because he's not heavily medically cleared to wrestle a full match, he decides to jump off a goddamn barricade. The goddamn bleachers, and do a swanton bomb, as Tiny pointed out before, landing right on his tailbone on concrete.
I saw him clutching his arm. That was what worried me. I thought he hurt his elbow.
He might.
Maybe he did that too.
I think he banged his elbow on the edge of the table, so he probably caught his funny bone.
Yeah, it was.
Which is horrible to think.
You brought up the replay, the camera angle that they showed.
Got over top,
down like that. That's it. That's
one just so good.
Yep. There you go.
That was it. It was so good. I mean, I pointed out before, I think Kevin and Sammy are the Terrence and Phillip of WWE.
Shut your fucking
mouth. In the sense of, I asked these two before, Dim, do you ever watch the episode of South Park where Terrence and Phillip try and go their own way?
I think so.
Right?
I haven't watched South Park in a long time.
You should. It's really good. All right. That's coming from a 40-year-old who still watches the show.
That show in junior high school. I still watch it. It's still fantastic.
Right, it's hilarious. The Japanese toilet episode.
Terrence and I'm curious where you're going with this. The Terrence
and Phillip. When Terrence and Phillip go separately, they have a modicum of success, but they never reach the heights they reach when they're together. Kevin and Sammy are a gestalt. Whether they are fighting, whether they are friends, they always reach higher levels together than they do on their own. Sammy especially does better when there are people around him.
Okay, I was about to say, because I think Sammy reached heights without him.
No, but he didn't do it on his own. Okay. He had people around him. Okay. Sammy works better as part of a crowd. Kevin works better when he's working with Sammy. They're the Terrence and Phillip of the TV.
Sammy works better when there's a program so that he can sink his teeth into it.
Yeah. And Kevin works better when he's with Sammy. I just think he feels more comfortable when he works with Sammy, and he gets to be more naturally Kevin. Like, a lot of people got really annoyed with angry Kevin Owens over the last couple of months. I fucking loved it.
I loved it.
Thank you. I loved it. It's my brother's favorite. Yeah, it's my brother's favorite thing Kevin Owens has ever done, and he's impossible to please. He absolutely adored angry Kevin just blowing his lid every 5 seconds. I thought it was fantastic because it was such a counterbalance to Sammy's whoa, calm down, zen nature.
Yeah.
Doing things.
I love the whole, we didn't mention your names. You're not allowed to interrupt us. Why are you interrupting us? Like the unwritten WWE, like backstage.
Say somebody's name. Your music didn't play. Why are you here? I didn't hear your music play.
I know you had something going on tonight, Lou. You're forgiven, bro. You're forgiven.
Hey, Lou, it's all good because next week on Monday, I got to either watch Raw or the Jets whip on the Bills.
I think you might be better off watching Raw.
Aaron Rodgers.
But
Englishman looking confused.
You have the Jaguars, right? Didn't Tony Khan say that they're the unofficial?
I'm a Panthers fan.
Tony Khan.
He said it. I swear to God, he said it during the press conference after All In. He was like,
he also turned around after All In and said, "There's a new WrestleMania." So
yeah, that too.
So Tidy, your turn. What was your favorite moment from the match?
So I'm not gonna say Street Fighter because they said all the spots that I like. So I'm just gonna say Shinsuke kicking the shit out of Seth in the back was brilliant. I love Shinsuke. Like that's how you beat up a man with a broken back. Freaking Shinsuke.
This is the one match we didn't talk about before.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it, but I'll move on because we're halfway mark, and I'm not since I screwed you guys out of a few minutes. I'm not gonna.
Just that really quick though, just that presentation for Shinsuke. Please,
manga
just a thing.
As
you said
as
earlier.
I pointed out on Wrestle Legion earlier today, I think it's absolutely amazing how Triple H in the span of I gave him 2 months. He worked some matches, and then this last month, the program has really pushed Shinsuke over the top. But within 2 months, Triple H was like, this is the real Shinsuke, and it wasn't that hard to do. Because I bought Shinsuke winning last night. I really thought it could have happened.
Yeah,
I really thought he was going to.
And that's what the commentators kept alluding to.
What's
the
that?
The commentators kept saying, this is what a real Shinsuke is. He's not trying to pander to the WWE crowd or put on smiles or anything.
Michael Cole said New Japan Pro Wrestling twice.
Yeah.
Michael Cole said New Japan Pro Wrestling twice.
Yeah.
And he didn't call it the other company or in Japan. He actually said New Japan Pro Wrestling. Muta was in the crowd, for God's sake.
Yes, he was.
Muta was in the crowd. Thank you. I mean, how can you not nod anymore to like, hey, this is the real Shinsuke.
Yeah.
They nailed it.
Really good job. I could talk about any match from the show. I thought the show was just top to bottom. It wasn't like an amazing, grand, like, oh my God, that was amazing. But it was a solid show. And I don't think you could really ask for anything more from a B-level pay-per-view.
Like I said before, it was an A-grade B pay-per-view.
There you go.
Yeah. And Triple H has got this. He's got this premium live event thing down. He knows, like, okay, look, let's not overload it. Let's give all these matches time to breathe. Let's tell the right stories. Let's put the right matches on the right programs that's telling the right story. That's going to accentuate it now too. And the good thing is that I think he's going to get WWE fans out of this really awkward mindset that they were in for a really long time, that every guy has to be on every pay-per-view.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Right. It's okay that, look, I love guys like Edge and AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. Those guys haven't wrestled on pay-per-view in a while. And you know what? It's okay. Because when they are on pay-per-view, it makes me pay attention even more, because it's like, oh, look who's back to being, at that primetime elite. This is their spot now. They're getting back to where they need to be.
As Michael Simon is famous for saying, less is more.
Less is more. Absolutely. This is where me and Cy, this is why me and Cy are like this, because we both preach this nonstop. Less is definitely more, especially when it comes to professional wrestling. And if we think about it, I think Triple H now has done 12 PLEs since he's taken over. He's missed once, and his miss wasn't even that big of a miss.
Nope.
So
I don't remember which one you were talking about. It's
last month's SummerSlam that for whatever reason people weren't buying it, and it's like, I get it. It wasn't spectacular.
I enjoyed it. So
it was enjoyable. Was it a SummerSlam show though? It didn't live up to because he's kind of made it a deal to take the big shows and make them feel big again. SummerSlam didn't have that kind of feeling to it. I don't know, but even so, I'm just going off of the whole grand audience saying things.
In my opinion, he hasn't missed yet.
They've all been good.
Yeah, same here.
But we will move on from Payback because it was a great show. We all enjoyed it very much, and we all agreed about the best match of the night, right? Becky and Trish.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Actually, you look like you're 10% made of sweat right now.
What?
Tidy looks like he's literally melting before our eyes.
Oh man, is that Cali weather still killing you, dude?
Oh, it's also the lighting is horrible right now with my thingy. So yeah, if I'm glow in the dark, it's because the lighting and the sweat.
We don't need to see the same people in POEs. Absolutely. But from there, we move on to the hot topic of the show, John Cena, because he has returned. And he's dabbled with a few names by now. But the question of the hour is, who do you want to see John Cena feuding with? We have 2 whole months of John Cena on WWE television. There are lots of people that we could pick from. There's a few that, again, he's already kind of touched in some way during his short return on 2 nights that he could possibly be feuding with. But this is your opinion. Tidy, I'm gonna go with you first, man. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Who it is you want John Cena to be feuding with?
Personally, I'm selfish. I'm a bastard. So I'm just gonna say Bobby Lashley because I have
Be
favoritism.
selfish, man.
I'm gonna be selfish about it because I want to see Bobby Lashley destroy John Cena. But that would be like at the end of 2 months. That's the end of the 2 months. Until then, I'd like him, like most of us are. I want him to go toe to toe with LA Knight. But I feel like Miz already did a damn good job on the mic with that.
Yeah.
I want LA Knight for now. I do want LA Knight because he's like you said with Miz, you're gonna fight a real superstar, and I'm the mega superstar living in Roach Motels and whatever this other promo was. I thought Miz killed it. Miz did such a good job with that impersonation as well. It was like seeing Miz in his back to his final form. He was the real Frieza. If you watch DBZ, I love
I do.
Final form of Frieza. Miz is back.
He was golden Frieza, mate. He was golden Frieza.
Thank you. But then, so what better than, if you're going to just throw him on the mic versus the Miz and roast his ass, then roast him with Cena. Screw it. That's what I like to see, to see him swim. I mean, I know Grayson can handle it, but, I really want to see LA Knight. And then Bobby to finish him off at the end.
Okay. So I'll just touch on this real quick before I swing it over to Nick here. I want to give Triple H more props because when they put LA Knight and Bray Wyatt together, people were like, why? Mm-hmm. And I said, I think this is a great thing for LA Knight because he's getting to work with one of the best minds. He's got to show that he can go toe to toe with Bray, at least on the microphone. And he came out looking like roses afterwards.
Yeah,
he did.
And then the Miz, who has been pretty much lackluster all year, they put him in a program with him. And it's like, I bet this is going to work because these are the moments where Miz shows up. And LA Knight came out of this one looking like roses, smelling like whatever the thing is, whatever you want to call it. That's two that people questioned that was like, nope, that was spot on. Yeah. And he should be, he should get some recognition for that because
give the man his flowers.
It was great ideas, 100%. But
I have 800 flowers.
Give them all to Triple H right now.
I can't even talk about it all. But yeah, Triple H has been killing it.
Yes, thank you. I know you. I know, Ty, you're not one of the dumb ones. Nick, I'll swing it over to you. Who do you want to see John Cena feuding with over the next 2 months?
Cody Rhodes, baby.
I knew he was going to say that.
Cody Rhodes. The simple fact is Cody Rhodes is being put through adversity.
Yeah.
What is more adversity than having to go up against the greatest of all time?
Real quick, there is a connection. Jimmy did talk to Cena. Cena already raised Cody Rhodes' hand the last time he was around.
Yeah.
They can make a connection out of this. Holy shit.
John Cena raised LA Knight's hand. Cody could be like, hey, what's that about, man?
Mm-hmm. But I want him to wrestle Cody because Cody, for me, is the next megastar in WWE as a babyface, as far as the men go. He is, you can disagree with me all you like, but where's Sammy now? He's in the freaking tag division, and Cody's still getting skyrocketed.
He was placed in that tag division.
And this is why we don't give Triple H's flowers. That's why we don't give him those flowers, Ty.
We're taking the flowers away.
Cody Rhodes is the perfect opponent for John Cena in more ways than one. One, he's basically going to take John's position in the company as far as super babyface goes, so it's nice for Cody to get that rub. Two, Cody's ring style is so unbelievably safe.
Yeah.
Right? Without it looking like the way the Miz wrestles. Because Cody, I love the Miz, but his shit looks super safe.
No, he's the safest wrestler in the history
world.
Of wrestling.
Right, in the history of wrestling, because Miz ain't risking getting injured for anybody. Right? Whereas Cody will look after his opponent to the detriment of his own body. Right? Just like Cena. Those two are a match made in heaven. They will have an absolute banger. And can you imagine the promos beforehand where Cena eventually turns dark side and just goes, shut up about your fucking dad?
No, he will.
All right.
He will.
John Cena will be the GOAT for sure. There'll be no more denying him. If he tells him to shut up about his daddy,
no, he
I'll
will. I mean, someone's got to tell him that.
Somebody's got to do it, and John's the perfect guy. So give me the LA Knight feud. Give me the LA Knight feud to start with. I think we've got Cena for 7 SmackDowns either side of the India
7
show.
more SmackDowns.
Yeah. So do the LA Knight feud. Build that up to the India match. Have him wrestle LA Knight in India. Have LA Knight beat him in India. Then have LA Knight beat Cena in India. Cena does not need to win.
He does, bro. When was the last time he won a singles match?
Who cares? It's John Cena.
And it's starting to have that impact. If you think about it, what did it do for Austin Theory, man?
Nothing.
That's
because John phoned it in. John completely phoned it in at Mania because he didn't see it.
Beating John Cena doesn't feel important anymore because he just doesn't win anymore.
And booking on WWE's end. They could have played that up. The same way as, look, Kurt Angle got retired by Baron Corbin. There was a lot of people that said WWE should have capitalized on Kurt Angle's retirement, being, by Baron Corbin, and they didn't. Same thing as Theory. Theory should have been shouting, "I beat John Cena" every single week from the rooftop. But they didn't give him enough time to do it. It just didn't.
I
just don't think it had the impact
on that, in my opinion. Like, I
Agreed.
don't know. Theory got still
but
on his own.
Sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, anyway, so give me the LA Knight feud to start with, have him lose, then have him wrestle Jimmy Uso in the middle and have him win. Then eventually shuffles along to Cody, as Cody is slowly brought back into the Bloodline saga via the medium of Jey Uso. Boom, Cody versus Cena, off to the races, money is made.
Okay.
I like it.
I feel like the Cody one is probably the most realistic one that's probably going to happen out of all of our answers here. But Albert, you're up. Wow me. Don't give me no Cody Rhodes bullshit.
Oh, no. I got something completely different than what everybody said. I'm going to, in one vein, I'm going to agree with Nick, and then I'm going to completely go off the rails and go completely the opposite direction.
Okay.
I say start off with Jimmy Uso. I think we need to establish Jimmy Uso as being a main eventer at this point, and you put him in the ring with John Cena, even if it's not in a PLE, but if you put him in a program with John Cena, it elevates where we see Jimmy Uso on the card. I know he's been in the Bloodline, he's main evented pay-per-views, but I think everybody sees a pecking order, and I think we put Solo in front of Jimmy Uso at this point.
Jimmy is at the very bottom of this pecking order. He's below.
Jimmy keeps getting arrested all the goddamn time. They can't trust him.
Yeah, I mean, he got hurt, and him coming back and having having the big tag run. But then, now he's in the more confusing part of he's the main character in the most confusing part of the story. I think they need to figure out something for him. And I think John Cena is the right person to get him on track. The other thing that I would do, Edge, resign that damn contract, come back, shut the damn door. Let's go. Edge, John Cena, legends go back at it one more time. Bring it back, run it back for me. Let it go.
That's a WrestleMania program for me.
I'm 100%. I'm with it. If Cena, a part of me thinks they can do it at Survivor Series. If Cena can, be around that long, I'm okay with it.
That's how you get to Cody
Cena.
Cena.
Both of their ideas.
That's how you get to Cody Cena.
Yeah.
That's how you get to Cody Cena. You have Cena on Team Cody at Survivor Series or on Team Jey Uso at Survivor Series. Cena costs him the match. Cody takes it out on him.
All right.
It makes sense. He said, "I don't want to regret this decision." That was writing on the wall.
Okay, guys. Okay, I've liked your answers, but now I have to educate you.
It's
as only I know.
Are you gonna say Dominic Mysterio?
Hold on a second. Let me talk to you. I'm not gonna say Dominic Mysterio. I am going to say Judgment Day.
Hey!
When I'm done, you are going to be completely on board. I promise you.
Okay.
Because the last time John Cena was here on regular programming, what did he do to Finn Balor?
He embarrassed him.
He stole his title
spot. Yes, he did.
Never wrapped that thing up.
They never did. And remember, when Cena came back last time, Finn even said, "I still hate John Cena."
So now Finn Balor is running WWE with Judgment Day. Hey, John, remember me? So they can feud. John Cena can beat Finn Balor. It'll be fine. Finn doesn't need wins at this point. I'm sorry to say it for him. He can have great matches. He's part of the best storyline in WWE at this point. I'm putting it over Bloodline at this point. That's personal bias, but whatever. He can have a great match with John. He can lose. It kind of adds to the story that Judgment Day is telling right now, and it's fine. Then we can do John Cena versus Dominic Mysterio, because who doesn't want John Cena to completely roast that man? We all want to see it.
Can roast him.
And when they wrestle, which I would do that match in India, that crowd is going to be electric, because you have the heat from Dom and you have the megastar John Cena, never going to go away pop. And it's going to be dueling fans.
It's the same thing as Cody.
Yes, exactly.
Put the top baby face in there with the top with the guy who's getting the most heat.
Then you wrap it up with John Cena losing to Damian Priest to put him over before he goes and cashes in his briefcase. And then guess what? John Cena filled in 2 months of television time. It didn't get stale because he wasn't wrestling and dealing with the same person week in and week out. And he's working with the top thing in the company right now, which if you're going to bring John Cena back, use it for something like that. Use it to help get things higher, to boost the ratings a little bit, get more people on board with it, and then have him go out by putting over the next guy that's supposed to be winning that World Heavyweight Championship belt in an organic way. It all makes sense.
I like it.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying Dominic Mysterio, although I do want to see the match happen. Judgment Day makes too much sense, and I want to see Rhea Ripley body slam him.
I hate when Jimmy fantasy books, because every time he fantasy books an idea, it's better than my idea.
Well, he missed a spot on this one.
Since
Edge resigns, teams up with Cena, and you have Edge and Cena go after the tag titles and lose.
You could even do that, and then that sets up WrestleMania 40. We get John Cena and Edge somehow, some way. Do it. I'm okay with that. I'm just saying I think John Cena should be feuding with Judgment Day.
I'm fine with that.
They're already in my opinion, because Bloodline has been less story the last 3 weeks. So
they've taken a step back.
Yeah. So if they're going to push Judgment Day above, like Triple H says, like they're the second best story, how do you get them to the next level and beyond? You get the biggest star that people know who John Cena is. Maybe they'll tune in because of John Cena. Oh my God, it's Judgment Day. So yeah, that's brilliant. But I gotta quote Nick though, for him to say, "Get over your damn dad" is the best thing, because he just told Jimmy Uso, man, wrong Uso quit. So I can definitely see Cena being cold and it's like pulling the rug under Cody. So I like both, but Judgment Day is better. That's how
I'll go full circle here too. We were talking about how we need to get more eyes on Rhea Ripley. John Cena's feud with Judgment Day. He's on TV. They tune in to see what John Cena's doing, and they see Rhea Ripley, and then there you go. More eyes are on Rhea.
And have Rhea Ripley hit him with a riptide.
Again, she needs to get physical with him, 100%. So people can be like, "Holy who is that?" 100%. Oh my goodness!
When you see her headbutt people,
so
there's such a joy when she headbutts people. I hope she headbutts Cena and knocks that hat right off his head.
That spot in that match last night where she body scissors Raquel in the corner to pull her in to headbutt her was one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was awesome. The way she works is phenomenal. So yeah, that's my thing. Because
I don't know if you'll agree with the comparison, but she reminds me of Brian Pillman.
I'm not crazy enough with him.
Crazy Brian Pillman. Specifically, Brian Pillman from '96 to just before he died.
Especially that she used the Pillmanizer on Liv Morgan with the chair. Yeah, I see it.
She's got the same quirky intensity that Brian used to have without the comedy edge. And that was always what was missing from Brian. He always had a comedy edge to it until they introduced a gun into the scenario, and that just
the gun scene. That's the film you're talking about.
Blew up everything.
And then lo and behold, Cash Wheeler was he was incentivized. He wanted to start wrestling after that one, man. He's like, yeah.
Hey, Jimmy,
but yeah,
I gotta take off.
How was it?
I gotta go get some other chores done, so I gotta take off in a minute.
All right, man. That's my fault. 100%. I apologize, man. But I appreciate you sticking through.
I just wanted to say, like, well, what Triple H has done, think about everybody I thought about. Like, JD has a good spot. Trish gave Zoe a good spot. The two best wrestlers in NXT at the time. Sorry, Carmelo. You're the second best compared to JD. I'm sorry. It's true. And then
it is, except JD Madonna looks like a goddamn Funko Pop.
That's okay. He'll make money.
Hey, they make WWE Funko Pops. He's a perfect fit for it.
Head's too big for his body.
He's smart. He already tweeted Funko and said, "Hey, let's get on this."
Sorry, I was in the
Everything
crowd
was so
for
brilliant.
NXT when we were all
I've been
chanting
happy.
"Your head's too big for your body" to the tune of Seven Nation Army when JD came out.
Look, man, that's bullshit. Really, they said that?
Yeah, your head's too big for your body. Head's too big for your body.
You know what? Judgment Day better let him in. It's
He's
Judgment
in,
Day
bud.
McDonough, like we said earlier. Judgment Day McDonough, his initials fitted.
Mhm.
They better give him some props, because if they don't, I know JD as a character. He's not going to put up with it. He's going to hold that carrot over the head. Remember how I helped you, and this is how you're going to pay for it. He's definitely going to do something maniacal if they don't let him in some way.
Well,
I mean,
I'm worried that they're going to use him to screw Priest out of the world title.
don't say that.
God's honest
Shit, because
truth.
I love Priest. Don't say that.
So do I, and it's the most Vince thing in the world to do.
Vince ain't around.
No
He's got a
Vince.
bacchiotomy going on in Connecticut or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I'll talk to you later. I got to get going.
All right, man. I'll see you later.
Alrighty.
Woody says see you later.
Good seeing you, man.
Appreciate you sticking around, man.
Bye, Cord. Thanks for being here, Nick.
No worries, man. Always a pleasure. Take it easy, Tidy.
All right.
Nick, I gotta ask you. You're wearing the shirt. How was it? I mean, just being a part of that crowd that big.
Right. I said to Jimmy on the show, it was the greatest, most expensive, cheap wrestling show I've ever been to in my life. It was indie-rific from start to finish. Even
That
Jericho's band performing 3/4 of a song.
You know what?
It was so much to be in that arena with I'd never been in Wembley. I've lived in England for most of my life, and I've never been in Wembley Stadium. To be in an arena that big, because it's bigger than SoFi, right? In an arena that big with that many people going absolutely batshit crazy was something else. It was just incredible. And for me, like everybody knows, I'm a Sting nut.
Yeah, that's your first time seeing him, yeah?
First time seeing him live.
I'm so happy for you, dude.
Yeah.
He came out to my favorite entrance music that he ever used in Seek and Destroy by Metallica. I nearly exploded.
I watched the entire show. I popped the biggest when he came out to that music. That was the biggest. That 12-year-old to me was, oh my God, it's Metallica!
That is exactly how me and my brother reacted in the stands. We both looked at each other and just went.
So, let's go ahead and hit this real quick. Since you brought it up, we got a little bit of time.
Yeah.
2 minutes tops. Favorite match from All In. Nick, go ahead. Let us know what it is.
Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay.
Man.
Love that.
Chris Jericho, Will Ospreay put on one. It's the best match Jericho's put on in about 2 years. As far as his work goes, it was phenomenal. And Will got to shine. Will Ospreay, in my opinion, is right up there for the best wrestler in the world.
I think he has a claim for it. He can make the claim for it.
He can make it. Well, the way he's been booked in the last 2 months, he said it himself. He's beat Okada, he's beat Omega, now he's beat Jericho. Bryan's the only one left, right, in that argument for best wrestler in the world. No, because he doesn't work in the rest of the bubble, dude. We discussed.
Yeah. He's inside that bubble.
He's in that bubble. He's in that bubble. He ain't gonna get out of that bubble unless he comes back to be.
He could go join them and prove himself.
Oh,
let's go.
He could.
Let's go. We got 6 months, right? Let's go.
I'd be absolutely awesome with that. But no, Jericho versus Ospreay. To see Will more than anything, I've watched Will Ospreay since his very first match. I was there live for his second ever match. I've seen Will Ospreay live, I think, 23 times now. And to see Will not only deliver a match that was head and shoulders above anything he's done for a very long time against a guy who is that much of a veteran in Chris Jericho, and to see him get that moment in front of all of us in Wembley Stadium just blew me away. And Jericho's entrance was amazing.
It was.
Just before I go to Albert, I don't want to take anything away. You've loved it, and I'm not going to shit on it at all. I'm so happy that Will Ospreay got that moment because, again, dude has busted his ass. He's worked. He really has worked to get himself to where he's at, and to have that moment is really awesome. I just was not impressed with the match. I don't know.
I've not watched it, but I've not watched it back, so it might not translate as well. It might not translate as well on television. I will say that my favorite other match on the entire card, besides Sting, which was the best thing ever, was like Punk and Joe.
I will say Ospreay looked phenomenal. Nothing about what Ospreay did. I just think him and Chris Jericho, to me, just didn't mesh with, I don't know. Maybe it was expectations because I don't know. But it just didn't mesh for me. But again, I'm not here to crap on it. That was your match. Will was awesome. Albert, you're up. Favorite match from All In?
Honorable mention. It's a very weird thing to
We
think.
have a guest.
But
Kitty.
Say hi, Max.
Yeah. Just you know what? See, you the cat being there leads me into what my real answer is because
Cat Miller, he didn't wrestle. Call his mama.
I hate to give an honorable mention to the Young Bucks ever, but man, there's something about them versus FTR that brings out the best.
He just got muted. He don't even know it. I'm just joking, man. Go ahead with it. Go ahead.
There's something about the Young Bucks wrestling FTR that brings out the best in the Young Bucks. I think it's the best matches they have are the matches against FTR. And I really enjoyed that match. But the main event to me was the match of the night. I mean, how over is Maxwell Jacob Friedman everywhere that man goes? I don't care what anybody says. Him and now pairing him with Adam Cole and the choice to not let either one turn on the other was absolutely the smartest decision that anybody's ever made, because all anybody kept saying throughout this entire build was, well, Max is just going to turn on Cole. And then slowly but surely,
that's the wrong way round.
Well, but then slowly but surely everybody started switching and went, no. Cole's going to turn on MJF. And at the end of the day, as much as it looked like Cole wrestled more of the heel throughout the entire match, he didn't fully go through with it. I loved it. I think the story was great. I liked the double clothesline false ending. I liked everything about it.
One question before we move on from that match, because I loved almost every single bit of this match except for one spot. I have to ask you, it did not bother you at all that Adam Cole was about to take a count-out victory?
A little bit.
Because that's a big fucking deal for me.
What?
You're not a nitpicker at all. We all know this. I don't nitpick. But that's kind of a big one to me.
Yeah.
It didn't make a whole heap of sense. Considering why Cole's
the rest of the match was great.
But so the only thing that I
know over wheels before, we were singing Max's song. Max's song didn't even have words.
Nope.
And everyone was going da-da-da-da-da-da-da. It was insane.
It's almost like he should have been a babyface a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's strange. I wonder who could have said that.
You can start sending me fucking checks, guys. But anyway, the match was great. I don't want to take what they put on was great. It's that one spot I was like, what are you doing?
So the only way I excuse it was that the selling that Adam Cole did after he dropped him with the brain buster, and he was like, Max, oh my god, and almost like, all right, you know what? I'll take the count out so that I don't have to hurt my friend anymore. Like, that's the way that I took it. He was like, you know what? If he stays down, okay, I don't want my friend to be hurt anymore. I think maybe I crossed the line. Let him just stay there, and we'll settle this another day because he's still my best friend.
That's your question, guys.
I'll allow it.
You do agree that Adam Cole is the one who's turning on MJF eventually?
I think
and reforming the kingdom with Roddy Strong, Mark Taven, and Mike Bennett.
I don't think so at this point.
Really?
I don't know where they're going with it. And you know what? Good damn job. Because it's about time you gave me a storyline that I could not pinpoint the ending. Usually we know point A, point B, point C. We know the beginning, we know the end, and in the middle we'll be able to pick some things out. This is the first time they couldn't have done it. And I want to give Tony Khan more credit for having the balls to not pull the trigger on a heel turn at that show. Because everyone was like, it's going to happen. It's the biggest show of all time for them. You got to do it. And he didn't. Bravo. Because you don't do it.
We got to that point in the main event with the double clothesline finish. And Simon and my brother had already left because they couldn't go without nicotine any longer. That's literally the God's honest truth. Simon and my brother
I'm believing you.
They couldn't go without nicotine any longer. They had to go for a cigarette. So Andy and I got up the moment the double countout happened because we were like, how are they going to finish this? Because they're not going to do the turn, not with the way the match has been booked. So we thought that was going to be it. Double clothesline, double count out. See you next year. Finish it all out. But I stood up, and then the moment Adam got on the mic, It was like, oh, hang on. Oh, something's going to happen here.
Yeah.
And just the booking, right? If there's one problem that All In had, it's that it was cheaply presented. Like,
which is crazy because when Jungle Boy made his entrance, I was like, oh, they're going big tonight. That's cool. And then they didn't.
It didn't at all. Like, it was this tiny little entrance ramp off to the side of Wembley. The ring was 3/4 of the way down the pitch, which made absolutely no sense to the people who were on camera side, like us, were further away from the ring than the side of the arena that he'd sealed off. And there was nobody sitting there. It was closer to the ring than us, which was baffling choices. But as far as the show goes, probably the third best show AEW have put on, behind All Out 2021.
Yeah.
And Forbidden Door 2.
And then for me, Forbidden Door 1. I think the first one, but I wouldn't even. I might even say Forbidden Door 2 is better than this too. I wasn't blown away by All In. I still understand the significance of it. It was a huge moment, and I'm so happy for him. It just didn't blow me away like I think the idea for that show is. I think it's supposed to blow us all away.
Like Andy was telling you early on in the show, Jim. The problem was, unless you knew why you were in Wembley, you didn't know it was a wrestling event that day.
Yeah.
There was no the Elite take the piss out of it on being the Elite. They walked past a WWE Money in the Bank bus, and Kenny turns around and says, "Where the hell is my bus?"
Yeah,
because they didn't have one. They had a tiny little poster on the side of about 3 buses, and there was only one sign for All In around Wembley Arena, and that was the main billboard. There wasn't a single sign throughout London for that show.
Man, you see, you drive up to a stadium, they got flags hanging on like 6 blocks away.
6 blocks away. Yeah, basically like this is the way you're supposed to be going.
Yeah,
the moment we got off the plane in America for Mania this year, as soon as you walked out of the airport, WWE, WrestleMania. It was
I think AEW will be better with it next year. I do. I think there's a learning curve for them. And
this is year 1. And they said they come back.
I want to give them the opportunity to learn from something before I start critiquing the shit out of them because, again, what they did was incredible. So
my brother made a really good point, which is Vince McMahon had a ready-made company, which he changed 30 years ago. But he didn't start from the ground up. Vince already had a platform to build from. And he did change the whole platform and the way it works and everything like that, but he had foundations.
Now, before you go any further, Tony Khan had foundations as well because they stripped the Ring of Honor roster, and he basically just said, "Whoop!" and took
all of Impact's TV team too.
He did start from the beginning, but he had a foundation to build up with. Yeah. To be fair here, I just want to say he's done a good job though.
It's a case of Vince already had 40 years of experience behind him.
That's fair. That's a more fair thing to say.
He's still a fan. Like he's still a fan. Eventually, in about 5 years, he'll stop being that fan and he'll start being the businessman, which he really needs to start doing.
You know what? Look, he's in the right direction.
I think he might have stopped being a fan last night.
He took a step in the right direction. Let me put his damn time.
Did you see him before Collision came out live to the crowd? I will. If I can, I'll send you the video later, Jim. It is brutal.
Yeah,
that audience tear him to pieces.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna just go ahead and say when I went to Collision and he came out, I went to Dynamite last week. I went to the Go Home show and I went to Collision 2-3 weeks ago. And both times Tony Khan came out, that crowd loved him. Mm-hmm. So to see that crowd react the way they did last night, I'm not gonna lie, I did laugh because as much as I respect what he's done and I want AEW to see and all that, I still think he's kind of a doofus from time to time and he needs to get his head out of his ass. Yeah. Hopefully this was the thing.
Look, here's the thing. There's Vince McMahon admitted when he first took over the company, when people interviewed him, this is what I wanted to do for a living. I wanted to be a professional wrestler. I wanted to be, I wanted to be one of the Graham brothers. I wanted Ted DiBiase's gimmick. That's what he wanted. Tony Khan continues to tell everybody, I don't want to be a TV character, when he keeps putting himself on TV, making himself out to look like he wants to be a TV character. Whether or not he does it all the time or not, just admit it. Just come out and just be honest with us and be like, hey, you know what, guys? I like being on TV. It's fun.
He's already playing a character because he
Yeah.
started doing it during the MJF and Adam Cole stuff backstage.
Hold on a second, though. But he wasn't on TV for the CM Punk thing, was he? I thought that was before the show.
No. He came. Oh no, he wasn't on live cameras. He came out though because he did the backstage announcement thingy.
Yeah, when I saw him come to the show, he literally is kind of just acting as a hype man. He's like, "Hey, thank you guys for coming. You guys ready for a show?" And then he'll kind of like he asked the Atlanta crowd, like, "You guys want a pay-per-view here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we do, but you're not gonna fucking do it. You're just gonna do it in Chicago again. Shut up, man." But that's the kind of stuff he does. So I don't consider that TV character. I think he should be. I saw someone say he should have been CM Punk's valet. I thought that was the most brilliant thing I ever heard. It would have been fucking hilarious.
That would have been really good.
That's I will say for All In, I'm not going to go with the homer pick. Obviously, CM Punk for Samoa Joe was the best match of the night. But I'll say the Sting, Darby Allin, Swerve, and Christian, that match was awesome.
The answer for me. Swerve braids were out of that casket. I'm only kidding. No, it was so much fun.
Same thing.
So much fun.
No, we said it. We all said that as well because it was on the Jumbotron. But no, that match, Swerve Strickland deserves a freaking medal.
Absolutely.
Like,
Darby Allin deserves all the pain medicine in the world.
Yeah, he does. That coffin drop.
That splash when Swerve was sticking out of the casket, me and my friends looked at each other. So my full disclosure, so I watched with a bunch of people. My friend's daughter had just come home at that time, and she looked over the TV. She went, he's not really gonna, while he's in the, and then Sting gives him the splash. And I mean, there were 7 people in that room that all at the same time went, oh! It was the coolest thing ever. Like, Swerve. Yeah,
Darby was going to hit the coffin drop on Swerve in the coffin. I was like, please don't do that. Please don't.
Yeah.
Do that. Please. And thankfully they didn't. But because man, that could have been turned bad. But
yeah, he caught himself on the edges. That would have been nasty. But Darby said he's here for a good time, not a long time.
Not a long time.
What is up, Sinister? Thank you for joining. So with that, it's now the part of the show. I was not looking forward to this part, but last week we didn't do the show. For me personally, I just wasn't able to do it because as we all know, we lost Terry Funk a week and a half ago. And before we could even cope with that, we were hit with the unfortunate, shocking news that Bray Wyatt was also taken from us, literally 24 hours later. That hit me hard. Like, it really hit me hard. I know it hit Albert hard, hit Tidy. I know Tidy kind of wanted to talk on it. I'm sorry he didn't get to, but and then Nick, I think when I told you we were doing that tonight, that's when you said, hey, do you think I could join? So I'm going to try and get through it. I'm going to let you guys go first so I can compose myself. Because again, this one hit me hard. This might be, I don't think there's been a death as far as a celebrity, anything like that, that's hit me harder than this one. It really has. And I just felt it was right for us to, one, take the week off, gather ourselves, and then come back in a right way. Albert, the floor is yours if you'd like, sir. Say what's on your mind.
Being a wrestling fan for, full disclosure, a couple weeks ago, I turned 38. So I would say I've been a wrestling fan for 35 years. You grow up and you watch these people on your TV every week, and you form a bond with certain characters. There's just certain people that bring you in a little bit deeper than other people do. And for everybody, it's a little bit different. But for a number of people that I've spoken to, for people that have been talking for a long time, the one person that seemed to have done it for everybody, whether it was in a good way or a bad way, was Bray Wyatt. The personality that we saw on TV was so captivating and so endearing, and it made you want to keep watching. There was never a time where Bray Wyatt was on my television where I would be on my phone or turn away from the TV. And that's starting from, cult leader Bray, and then, these different incarnations that you have of this character. Just every single, incarnation that he comes up with, everything, it got me more invested deeper as a fan. I think that when Bray had his health issues, a lot of it was during a period where a lot of wrestling fans were starting to get a little bit upset with WWE's direction and Bray's direction, and I don't think we realized how bad this really was. That we almost lost him prior to this, and that's the one first thing I really want to take out of this before we get deep into everything about Bray is just we as a fandom and as people need to stop trying to figure out or trying to, or think that we know what's going on. It's happened with Chadwick Boseman was another, huge blow to me I'm a huge Marvel guy. And that fandom, like, it devastated me because we lost our Black Panther. It wasn't like we just lost another human being. We lost our Black Panther. And in this situation, we lost our Bray Wyatt. It's a horrible thing to have to think that a man who was 36 years old and so full of life isn't with us anymore. And, before I get too deep into this and really start reflecting too much and start breaking down into tears again on the stream, I'm just going to say that I'm gutted for everyone who knew him. I'm gutted for his family, because if I spent the better part of 3 or 4 days just randomly crying, I'm not an emotional person. I don't cry, but I spent the better part of 3 or 4 days crying every time I thought about Bray Wyatt and the fact that he was gone. I can imagine the people that loved him. My heart's just out to his family and his friends, and to the rest of us in this community. I hate that we have to mourn the death of someone who is not only just one of the most creative minds in the history of pro wrestling, but by all accounts, by everybody who's spoken about him, one of the best human beings on the planet.
Absolutely. 100%. Nick, the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, folks, I'm going to take my glasses off so you know I'm being serious. I am a schizophrenic man. And when Bray Wyatt returned in early last year, Bray Wyatt was running a character that everybody knows I interpreted as a schizophrenic. He introduced all of his promos by saying, "Greetings, everybody. My name is Bray Wyatt. This is what I do at meetings. This is what I do at therapy. It's how you introduce yourself." And I went through a really low period in my life during Bray's run. And Bray helped pull me out of that low period. As sad and whatever it is, I've been watching wrestling since I was 6 years old, and I'm 40 now. There have been very few characters that I connected with on the level that I connected with Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda, whatever you want to call him. The man was not given the time that he deserved. He was taken from us far too early. And I cannot say thank you enough, because the God's honest truth is, if it wasn't for Bray Wyatt, I don't think I'd be here talking to you right now. I loved that man. I never met him, but I spoke to him a couple of times over the internet. He was wonderfully understanding, phenomenal person. And he's been taken from us far too soon. But on a different point, I think that one person that's being forgotten, because Bray meant so much to all of us, is Terry.
Yeah.
My brother, being remiss of my brother if I didn't say how much Terry Funk meant to the wrestling industry, how much Terry Funk meant to wrestling fans my age, who grew up watching Terry wrestle Sting, wrestle Ric Flair, basically put the stamp of legitimacy on ECW and help create that company and make it what it was. The Land of Extreme would not have existed without Terry Funk. And that's not just me saying that, that's Paul Heyman. But I don't want to get too emotional. I don't want to get upset. I will just say that both these men meant a horrendous amount to me. They will always mean a great deal to me. I will celebrate the end of their life from now till the day I die. Thank you, Bray. Thank you, Terry. May the universe rest both your souls. You will be missed.
To touch on the Terry one real quick, I think the reason Bray's was kind of overtaking it is the shock value of it. I think a lot of people had kind of come to grips with the fact that Terry was on his kind of last.
Yeah.
And I do hate it for him, as far as like the fans, that they weren't able to, I guess, digest it a little bit longer before they were hit with the crushing news of Bray. I'll take my crown off. I won't take the glasses off though, because I am a crier. I am a very emotional person. There's two things in this world that mean the absolute world to me. One, it's my little family. Like that's obviously number one, hands down. I get to enjoy my second favorite thing though with my family, and that's professional wrestling. Bray Wyatt, I rank him up there as far as like impactful, as far as my fandom goes, with CM Punk. Because when I saw CM Punk, I wasn't watching wrestling at the time. I was just kind of tuning in, and I tune in, I see CM Punk. I was like, I like this guy. I kept watching, and lo and behold, I became a wrestling fan again. Bray Wyatt, though, there was a point where I was a fan, and then now I feel like I'm kind of like a mega fan at this point. Bray Wyatt was one of those people. I think he would be the top person here that is responsible for that transition from big fan to just, this is my shit. Like, I just absolutely love professional wrestling. Because when I looked at Bray Wyatt and the Wyatt family, he was different. He looked different. He sounded different. He acted different. He's like, this is the kind of guy I love. And he never disappointed. Like, literally never disappointed. He is, like, again, I love professional wrestling. I love it. Anybody that, like, they know, like, I love it. I don't like talking shit about it. I love it so much. And he was a huge part of this era, and this era that made me an even bigger fan because of the work he did. The stuff with The Fiend, I know a lot of people went back and like kind of hated on it. And I'm like, man, what is wrong with you? This stuff is awesome because it's different. He always made me feel. And when I got the news, I literally wasn't able to like cope with it because I was taking my girl on a date, and I just had to kind of like swallow it real quick and just, okay, it didn't feel real. And then when I finally was able, we got home, I literally just turned on the Firefly Funhouse and watched it, and I couldn't handle it. This, as I said to start off, this is the hardest one I've had to deal with, 100%, because one, how much he meant to me in professional wrestling. Two, he is a man like us. He is a father like me. Like, he is a brother. He is a husband. Like, he is all these things. He is a friend to so many people who had nothing but the absolute most kind words to say about him. Like it wasn't just nice things. They were incredibly kind words that were being said about Bray Wyatt by literally everybody that knew this man. And I can only imagine the pain they're feeling if they know him. And we only knew him through the TV and and the joy he brought to us, and it impacted us this way. So I can't imagine the pain those people are going through. And recently, I made a decision to stop being invested in this kind of stuff in the wrestling world. This is a big reason for it, because while I'm going through for the next like 3 or 4 days after he passed, we're seeing a lot of people give him his flowers. It wasn't like that beforehand, though. And that's fucking heartbreaking, because he's one of the most polarizing people in the history of the industry. People they were not kind to him for so long. And it's like, why? Why are we doing this? If clearly, after what we've seen, if there's one person who did not deserve it, it is Bray fucking Wyatt. And it killed me, man. This really, really hurt me. And I want to thank him for what he's done. I'm sorry that he's not here to hear it, even if he wouldn't hear it if he was. But just the fact that it's like we couldn't if we wanted to. And yeah, there's a lot about this that bothers me. But I think the part that really got to me was just the fact that we're giving him his flowers and it's too late. So with that, it's anybody's watching. I hope that we can not do this anymore. Like, there's no reason we should be being assholes to these people who are out there every single fucking night, putting their bodies on the line to entertain us. They're people too, man, and they can be taken from us at any point.
Not superheroes.
Yeah, they're real life superheroes, people. And the part of wrestling that I love the most, character work. There's no bigger character than Bray Wyatt. The promos. I've said before, I think Bray is top 3 promo all time when he's on it. Like, he just made you feel, he made you believe. And yeah, I'm to this day, it bothers me. I can't talk to him. I was able to, after SmackDown, kind of, okay, it's happened. But then I heard Shattered the next day, and it fucking broke me all over again. And I've been hearing his themes a lot last past week, and every time it's just like, so with that, if you guys want to closing remarks before we head out, if you can, if not, I'm just gonna put up a picture that basically encapsulates what Bray Wyatt Wyndham was. And
yeah, just real quick, Nick, you mentioned something earlier. I just wanted to kind of go back to it. You talked about Terry Funk. Conrad Thompson and Bruce Pritchard did a podcast remembering Terry, and Conrad said something that I think resonated so well with me because we tend to forget we're very all close in the same age. We've had our wrestling fandom has spanned the same amount of time. We forget there's a lot of younger people that are just watching wrestling that may not know a lot about Terry Funk. And Conrad said one thing to me that really stuck out. Said Terry Funk was your favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler. And I think that's the best way to put it. You want to talk about someone, Jim, you brought up character work. You want to talk about somebody who is going to be looked at as being the biggest, toughest, most badass guy in the world, but his character work was second to none. Go back and watch old Terry Funk stuff. Go back to the beginning of his career. His beginning of his career was all character work. And that laid the groundwork for somebody to be that badass, for somebody like Bray Wyatt to come along and to take that, backwoods leader gimmick and turn it into something that just, every word that man said just resonated and it made you feel something. And there just aren't many people in this world that you can look at and you can feel like they're speaking directly to you through a TV screen. Unfortunately, we lost 2 of them, and it's a shame that we have to say goodbye. But we do have the memories and their amazing work to keep their memories alive.
I just want to say that it's a crying shame that only in times of tragedy do people come together to celebrate greatness. We need to stop waiting for moments of destruction to celebrate who people are. And we need to start doing it while they're still with us, because when they're gone, they can't hear it anymore. Bray Wyatt was a special performer and a special human being. And the way he was treated online for the last 3 years is a disgrace. And people should be ashamed of themselves. We need to start celebrating these men and women that literally risk their lives for our entertainment on a daily basis, just so we can put a smile on our face and go home from a show and say, I saw that happen. These people can change your lives. Bray helped change mine. As minuscule as I am, as unimportant as I am in the grand scheme of the universe, Bray Wyatt helped change my life. And he did it for the better. And he did it through a TV screen.
And he did this with literally every single person. Like, again, not to take anything away from Nick's story at all, but this is literally how he touched everybody that he had a connection with.
Yep.
So with that, this is where I used to tell people just enjoy wrestling. At this time, hey, stop being assholes. Let's all just love each other and appreciate what we're given, because it can be taken from us at any moment. So thank you, Bray.
Thank you, Bray.
And that's the show. See you guys next week.